everybody, my name's Gale, and within the past month I made a video where I criticized the writing of Miraculous Ladybug, and it seems like a lot of people agreed with me. I wasn't intending to be overly negative about the show, but the nature of expressing my disappointment and frustration meant that no matter how I said my grievances, it inevitably would have sounded negative. So I want to make a positive video where I don't complain about what isn't there, but I celebrate what it was built upon and what I really liked about it. So instead, I'm going to use the framework Miraculous Ladybug provides in a fun and creative way to create my own version of Miraculous Ladybug. Like fanfiction, but less work. And here's a disclaimer. This isn't meant to downplay the amount of work or effort that goes into actually creating something like a TV show. I fully understand that what I'm doing here, while it may sound fun and cool, is not even a fourth or a 25th or a 100th of the work it takes to actually make a story into a cartoon or any television series. So take this as what it is, a creative project that's just meant for fun and to see the what-ifs, not as a commentary on actual writing or directing of an established show. So, for the internet's consideration, I present Miraculous by Gale. My season 1 starts in a similar place to the canon show, but already I'm going to make some changes. First, my season is going to have a chronological order, and that is how this will be presented to my audience. Second, my focus will actually be on both Adrian and Marinette equally, building the story through two halves rather than just one perspective. The first episode will be an artsy intro. I'm thinking no superhero antics in the first episode. It will focus on Marinette first and show how she's kind of unlucky and not very confident in herself, but she's a good person and she has a good family. After 10 minutes of getting to know Marinette, she'll be walking on the sidewalk and a car will pass her by. The camera will change to follow that car, and inside we'll meet Adrian. Adrian's going to be a little bit different from the canon portrayal. He's a little too perfect for me, and if he's going to carry half the show's drama and emotion, he needs to have a struggle. He's going to still be a good person, but he's going to have some trust issues built from being famous and a model. People have used him to get ahead in life without really caring about him, so now he's a bit guarded. He'll be shown to be very fortunate in opportunities and fairly confident in himself, but his family life is miserable. The episode will end with both protagonists heading to the same location, probably like the Eiffel Tower or something, with a cameo by Master Fu, and at that location the first villain will show up, and the episode ends with both our protagonists looking on in horror. The villain can still be Stoneheart or something. Episode 2 will continue where the first one ended. The protagonists will do heroic acts as their civilian selves, saving people from the Stoneheart attack, which will convince Master Fu to give them their Miraculouses. They'll transform into their superhero forms and take on the villain. Now, for our second set of changes, I don't want our heroes to be limited to one move per fight, so now both can use their powers an unlimited amount of times. I also don't like Ladybug's powers. I want Ladybug to be smart, so I don't want the answer to just be given to her by the whims of whatever magic is. I'm thinking that she can instead have control over a putty-like substance that she can form into any shape she can imagine. That way the function stays the same as in canon, but she has more involvement in her powers. Ladybug will still be nervous, but Adrian will be a natural, if not a bit overly destructive. Together, they'll help each other adjust and take down Stoneheart. Hawkmoth won't reveal himself just yet. Instead, the whole of Paris will wonder what the heck just happened, and what does it mean? I also don't think I want Kwamis in my version. They're cute, and I love Plog, but they really only serve as exposition dumps, and I want to stay as far away from that as possible. Which leads me to the school portion of the show. Adrian is still going to try to go to public school, so he isn't locked up at home all day, and he'll end up in the same class as Marinette, like in canon. There will be some different dynamics though. Chloe is still a bully, and still clingy to Adrian, but in this version Adrian actually is pretty friendly with her, like real childhood friends. He sees what she's doing is wrong, but because of his distrust for people and his belief that Chloe is his only true friend, he tends to ignore it. This attitude does make him come off as arrogant and a bit self-centered, but there will also be scenes for the audience and sometimes for Marinette where he does good things or fixes issues Chloe causes, so you see that he is a good person just when no one is watching. Marinette will still be friends with Alia and still antagonized by Chloe. She will start off believing Adrian is arrogant and a bad person, but after Chloe destroys her umbrella on accident, Marinette will catch Adrian replacing the broken umbrella with his own, and this causes Marinette to question her assumptions of him. She won't immediately be in love, but she will start having a change of heart. Where they really get to know each other, and where we'll bring the full cast together to actually forward the plot, is with my change to Alia. In this version, Alia doesn't make a blog, but instead makes a club dedicated to superheroes, secretly meaning to find out the superheroes' identities. Marinette and Adrian join because they need to protect their identities from whatever Alia discovers. Nino joins to get closer to Marinette, though he will slowly fall in love with Alia instead, and because Adrian joins, Chloe joins. And so, the Investigating Five is born. Did I just make Miraculous Scooby-Doo? Nah, silly. But did I? And that's my version's formula. Marinette is going to grow more confident as Ladybug and use her intelligence to outsmart the villains, which will translate to her becoming more confident at school and taking leadership positions amongst the class. Adrian will slowly learn to trust his new friends through fun shenanigans that open him up to being just a normal kid again, while feeling true satisfaction in his work as a hero. Nino will start off as the lazy member that only does the minimum in everything, but will gain an appreciation and a passion to succeed at his goals from Alia. And Alia will be driven, but also a bit forgetful of others in her pursuit of the truth. Over time, she'll learn to take into account others' feelings when she meddles. And Chloe will learn to value things that can't be bought with money, like trust and friendship and loyalty. The season will focus mainly on our main two protagonists, having both Marinette and Adrian-centric episodes, but there will also be episodes just dedicated to fleshing out our other three supporting cast members. Later, in mid-season 1, the Investigating Five will discover the first clue that the villains aren't just coming from nowhere. There's someone behind the creation of these villains, watching the destruction of Paris from the shadows. The mission of the Investigating Five has changed from looking for Ladybug and Cat Noir's identities to searching for this mysterious Hawkmoth. The season finale will be the first clash of Ladybug and Cat Noir with Hawkmoth, and that encounter will end up with the knowledge of his powers and how he creates villains. He'll slink off with an important artifact MacGuffin as Ladybug and Cat Noir try to catch him. Cat Noir will relentlessly try to chase him down, but Ladybug will stop him, reminding him that they have to protect Paris first, and that they can't leave all the civilians alone with the villain Hawkmoth just created to distract them. This creates the first real rift between our heroes that will echo through Season 2. Season 2 is the romance season, where Marinette and Adrian fall more in love with each other, but Ladybug and Cat Noir feel more distant. Cat Noir feels that stopping Hawkmoth, no matter the cost, is worth whatever they have to give up, but Ladybug doesn't feel any lives lost are worth taking down Hawkmoth. This conflict in ideals powers the drama in the superhero portion versus the romantic tension in the school portion. Also, Adrian's new interest in Marinette strains his friendship with Chloe, and we'll start to see Chloe going back to her old ways due to the hurt she's feeling. Alia and Nino start dating, which causes both of them to slowly pull away from the group to spend more time together. Mid-season, we'll see the greatest clash between Ladybug and Cat Noir, where they decide to go their separate ways due to the imbalance between their ideals. This will pair with the full sabotage of the Investigating Five by some plan made by Chloe, forming an emotional low point for the season. But by the finale, Marinette and Adrien will get together as an official couple, Ladybug and Cat Noir will forgive each other and fully return to the heroic duo who trusts and support each other. Chloe will be at her lowest, but she'll do something heroic, saving Marinette from a villain, which allows her to turn into Ladybug and save the day, which will also start off Chloe's redemption arc, which will be the bulk of her character in Season 3. The Investigating Five permanently dissolves, but the friendships remain. Season 3 is my final season. Marinette and Adrien have to deal with the issues that come up due to being in a relationship while hiding a half of themselves. Alia can't give up her search for the truth about superheroes and villain identities, which starts to get her into trouble. Nino helps her but is conflicted with how far she's willing to go to find these identities, and Chloe redeems herself for her actions in Season 2. Also, the villains have become stronger and harder to fight, causing a lot of stress for our superheroes, who are now starting to feel a little more than affection for each other. By the end of Season 3, Nino has broken up with Alia because her obsession has taken over, and she won't stop because she's becoming more and more scared of Hawkmoth with each villain. Chloe has come back to the group as a trusted friend again, and starts noticing things related to the Agreste family. And Adrien and Marinette's relationship seems ready to collapse as they both deal with the guilt of loving someone else. The episode before the finale, Alia discovers Ladybug and Cat Noir's identities, which reveals those identities to the whole friend group, causing a rift in Marinette and Adrien's relationship because they don't know how to interact anymore now that they know that the other is their superhero partner. Alia and Chloe also feel a bit betrayed by the information, but Nino defends Marinette and Adrien, persuading Chloe and Alia to forgive them for keeping the secret because it was just something they had to do. Together, they look at all the evidence collected over the past 3 seasons with new information Marinette and Adrien can provide since they don't have to protect their identities anymore. This leads to Adrien giving out info about Agreste Manor and his father that lets Chloe put together Hawkmoth's identity. She's stunned, but she shares this information with the group. Adrien rejects this idea immediately, almost getting angry at the insinuation his father could be the villain he's wanted to destroy for a year now. But as Alia and Nino and Marinette talk out the evidence and how his father connects all the dots, Adrien is forced to face reality and runs away. Gabriel is still a horrible father in this version, but he isn't openly stopping Adrien from having friends or relationships, so he's a bit more believable as a cold but loving father. Adrien will run to confront him, exposing himself as Cat Noir in his desperation for his father to have a reason he couldn't be Hawkmoth. Instead, this starts the final confrontation, where Marinette and the group run after Adrien, trying to get to the Agreste Manor before something bad happens, while Hawkmoth tries to convince Adrien to join him, to bring back his dead mom, who in this version is really dead, not like coma dead. In the end, Adrien does the right thing, and together with his friends and Ladybug, they defeat Hawkmoth and retrieve his Miraculous. Marinette and Adrien have a sweet moment where they recommit to their love for each other and cry a little bit at the stress and sadness that has been building up for 3 seasons. Alia and Nino talk about trying the relationship again, and Chloe is there as emotional support for Adrien, as a friend. And I'm happy to throw in like some B side plot where she like finds romance with like Nathaniel or Luca or some other insert hot character that can, make her happy too. And that's the general gist of how my Miraculous story would go. It's not perfect by any means. It's a bit silly, but it would be a story I would enjoy if I had to make one using these characters and the established premise. I did end up getting rid of the love square, which makes me sad, but it didn't really fit in with the narrative I was crafting. Same thing with Plog and the rest of the class. But now, I want to hear from you. I read so many comments where people had such great ideas on where they had wanted the show to go, so please share them, whether it be traditional fan fiction, art, or even a video like mine. I would love to see the amazing creativity everyone has when it comes to Miraculous. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! Hi there, it's the end of the video, my friend. Hit the the bell if it was okay. I'm sure I'll make good content someday. I'll play some games or do some drawing, Pokemon and fights with darling, video essays and reviews. I couldn't do it without you, so thanks, like and subscribe.